Hey guys, thanks for watching. It's Brittany and I would like you to grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let's chat about what we can expect in 2021 for our weddings. Now, originally my plan for this video was to make like a fun wedding trends 2021 video, but honestly I think that's kind of inappropriate at the moment, looking at the situation and what's going on in the world, and especially what's happening in North America and maybe wherever you are in the world as well. I think the steam from my tea is like going up into the lens, so I'm just gonna hold it. So anyway, because of all the craziness that's going on, it doesn't mean that we can't be excited about weddings. It's just that weddings are gonna obviously continue to look very different, or at least they should probably look very different, because we can kill people. You know, things are happening where people are having super spreader weddings and bad things are happening. So it's not to say that we can't get married, that we can't have amazing teeny tiny weddings, or have a small wedding now and then plan for that big, cool, fun dream wedding in the future. But that's gonna affect this list that we're gonna go over today and how weddings are gonna look going into 2021. In my opinion, but like really just what I'm reading on the news and from experts, this is kind of what I'm seeing in terms of trends, and also, you know, just like common sense, because it doesn't seem like things are gonna be that much different between now and June, honestly. Of course, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know, maybe things will be different. That would be great, but we just don't know. And so we have to kind of proceed with our wedding plans going forward as if things are gonna be kind of how they are now. So I think I would also like to briefly address the concerns with having a small wedding now and your, like the big one sometime in the future, because I think I'm maybe having the same concerns as some other people who are considering this option, or who have already done this option. And that is that other people, including yourself, will just not be excited for a big wedding in the future, or you feel like your priorities will shift because maybe you'll want to have a baby, or maybe you'll be in grad school, or like whatever. Your life will be, you feel like your life will have moved on to something else, and that nobody will be excited anymore if you already got married. You know, you already had that small wedding, and then like what's even the point? And so you're feeling kind of sad about that. And I totally get it, because I've had those feelings as well about this topic. So I just want to address that particular thing really quickly. So just in case this happens to help anybody out there, this is how I have personally decided to look at this whole situation. This is how I see it. We are now, all of us in the world, experiencing something insane. Something, you know this, I mean, something insane that has never before been experienced by anybody on earth collectively the way it is now. And so if you decide to get legally married now, everyone's gonna understand, first of all, for whatever reasons it is that you want or need to get married right away. I feel like everybody understands. People get it, you know? And as far as people being excited for the big celebration later, including you, including yourself, when this whole thing is cleared up, maybe not back to normal, I don't know if that's gonna exist anymore, but what I'm trying to say is when we get over this hump of this big challenge that we're all collectively facing in the world, people are gonna wanna celebrate, and they're gonna wanna celebrate love more than anything, and they will be so happy to celebrate with you. That's what I think. I mean, I just thinking about attending a wedding, celebrating with people safely, being able to do that again, it sounds amazing. Like I so look forward to going to events again with lots of people and being able to celebrate, and especially a wedding. So I hope that you can sort of set that concern aside a little bit and just be excited, get married, yeah, have a little legal wedding ceremony or whatever it is you want to do now. Go on to have a family or whatever it is you want to do in your life. But that doesn't mean that you can't still be excited, and that the world won't still be excited about your big wedding in the future. Okay, side note ended. If you guys are new to this YouTube channel, my name's Brittany, and I started this wedding channel earlier this year, because I was planning my own wedding. Even my small wedding got totally dive bombed by everything that's happening this year. Feel free to check out some of my other videos as well. I've actually made videos about how you can better protect your guests during this global pandemic time, as well as fun stuff like wedding DIYs and wedding dress try-ons and stuff like that. As we head into 2021, we really only have like 4 options for weddings that I can think of. The first one being eloping with your partner, or having a really small kind of micro wedding, you and your partner, so maybe fewer than 10 people or something. So having a tiny micro wedding or eloping. The second option is to get legally married now, so really like option 1, have a teeny tiny wedding, legal wedding, but this doesn't have to be super special, and then have your big celebration later on when it's safe. Your third option for 2021 is to have a virtual wedding, and that can actually be really cool. I made a video about how to do a Zoom wedding, so check that out if you're interested in that. And then the fourth option is to risk it and have a quote normal wedding, which obviously I don't recommend. I don't think health experts recommend. But like I said, I'm not an expert, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what's gonna be happening in 6, 7, 8 months from now. All I know is that in March, which was 9 months ago, I had no idea we would be worse off now than we were in March. Who knows what's gonna happen in 9 months from now. Hopefully things will be better, but you know, you just never know. I think we have to plan for the worst, hope for the best, plan for the worst, be smart about these things, because it's not worth getting the people that we love sick for something that has to do with love. So I heard a big thing that's going to change going forward is that people are having fewer and fewer buffet style weddings because people are afraid of everybody touching the same stuff and all that. That makes total sense, but it's also kind of a shame in a way, because I feel like a buffet wedding was a good alternative budget-wise for a lot of us, and also just kind of delicious. It's fun being able to go back for seconds. But I totally understand why people are choosing more and more not to have buffets going forward. So instead, a lot of people are doing food trucks, or like packed boxes, like bento boxes, or they're doing like a traditional plated dinner. And so you just kind of have to decide what's best for you. If you are gonna have a really small guest count, it's probably a lot easier now to do a plated dinner for your small guest count, and you'll probably end up even saving more money than you would have with a large guest count in a buffet. In general, it seems like a lot of couples are just not having that big, lavish, over-the-top sort of wedding anymore. It's becoming, I think it already was becoming less and less popular, and then, you know, this crisis just sort of put that into overdrive because you can't have a 500 guest wedding anymore. I think things like live streaming or virtual weddings will continue to be really popular next year. I think people are going to be doing a lot more of their own wedding decor going forward. I think we're gonna see a lot more DIY type wedding stuff. There's a lot of that already, but I think even more as people have like lost their jobs, are suffering financially, are really hurting during all this. I think we're all gonna be a lot more open to DIYing stuff for our wedding, maybe even like baking our own cakes or desserts, maybe doing our own photography, like any kind of ways that we can cut corners for our wedding. I think that we're gonna see more and more of that going into 2021, understandably. Because a lot of us don't have a lot of money right now, and because exotic travel is a little bit more difficult or even off limits, I think that we're gonna see more and more bachelor and bachelorette parties that are not, and we can't really even go out to bars in a lot of places or clubs. So I think we're gonna see more like cozy bachelor and bachelorette parties at rental properties and Airbnbs, where you just spend a weekend inside with friends. I mean, I know a lot of people do that already, but I think that's gonna be maybe even more so the norm going forward. More and more going into 2021 and even before, a lot of couples are asking less and less for traditional registry items like kitchen items and china and things like that. A lot of couples are already living together when they get married, and so they already have tons of stuff accumulated, and in some cases people will use this as an opportunity to like upgrade what they already have, but that can actually be kind of wasteful. So a lot of people are doing honeymoon registries or even asking for money, maybe not straight up asking for money, but sort of asking for money in a roundabout kind of way, which in my opinion is better. If you are gonna get a gift or give a gift, it's probably better to give the couple what they actually want and or need instead of just a bunch of junk. Not really junk, but like just stuff to upgrade what they already have. Things like receiving lines are not really popular anymore, or not going to be popular anymore in the future. If you don't even know what I'm talking about, then don't worry, but I remember some of my cousins having receiving lines after their wedding, which really just means that after the ceremony, the couple stands there and every single one of the guests passes by and just congratulates them. It takes forever, obviously, as things are right now, it's not super safe, so it's probably best that this just kind of falls by the wayside. Okay, so this is kind of a trend type thing, colorful wedding suits, men in colorful suits. I love this. I love these floral design suits and colorful suits. So I'm really happy that this looks like it's becoming even more and more, I'm not happy that it's becoming more and more trendy, but I'm happier that these kind of suits are easier and easier to find. I think I saw some on ASOS, and if so, if I can find the link, I'll drop that down below. I read that small, simple flower bouquets are replacing the popularity of cascading wedding bouquets, which is kind of disappointing to me, I guess, because I love cascading wedding bouquets, but I understand it because a small, simple bouquet is more affordable, easier to DIY for sure, and for all those reasons, I think I understand why they're becoming more and more popular. For any weddings happening in 2021, there's definitely going to be more of an emphasis on health and safety, or at least I would hope so. I know that some brides and grooms have had the best of intentions with their weddings. They've put out all kinds of sanitary stations and free masks for their guests, and in some cases their guests haven't listened to them, haven't worn the masks, and then we've seen things like super spreader events happen at weddings. So hopefully if you are having a wedding next year with a little bit of a larger guest count, your guests will listen to you and follow safety procedures and everything will go smoothly. A lot of couples are also putting a lot of their focus, especially on things like thoughtful food and beverages. So putting a lot of care into the food that they're serving and the beverages, because we can't really do other things. In a lot of places you can't dance, you can't have a large guest count. So a lot of your time and attention and budget goes into the details of the food and the drinks, which is pretty cool actually. There was a time when some weddings had open seating where guests could sit anywhere they want, and I think that what's happening now in the world has kind of killed that. I don't know that we'll see open seating as much at weddings in the future, just because we do have to be a little bit careful about keeping people in pods, you know, their household pods, keeping people not intermingling as much, and so open seating might be dead for a while. I've seen that a lot of people are no longer doing the green and white florals, which were super popular for a while, this kind of minimalist theme, green and white, keep it simple, which is awesome because it's super budget friendly. But more and more people are going and getting like these deep burgundies and kind of fall autumny colors, maybe just because it's fall right now, so I'm seeing this a lot. It seems that the minimalist trend is maybe not going to be as popular next year. I don't really know, because that doesn't make sense since people will not have a lot of money going into 2021, or a lot of people won't. So all that said, guys, I wanted to ask you, what are you doing differently in 2021, either trend-wise or safety-wise, that maybe you wouldn't have done had you been planning your wedding 2 or 3 years ago? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I think we all want to be able to relax and have fun and keep our parents alive and not endanger anybody, you know, with our love. So